Oh, Heavenly Father, we do thank you. We thank you for the life that you've given us and the compassion that you've shown us through your Son, Jesus. Open our hearts, our ears, our minds this day, that we might learn from Jesus his compassion for the crowds, the 5,000, as well as his compassion that he showed for us. He spread his arms and died on the cross. So may that be our message, and may we hear how we can be your messengers of grace and compassion. Amen. What do you call a person who's happy on Monday? Crazy? Close. Retired. How many of you know some retired people? Oh, okay. Now those of you that have talked to some retired people, I know I've talked to some retired people here and in different congregations I've been. Most of the retired people I talk to say that they're busier now than when they worked. Have you heard that one before? Anybody? In fact, some of them wish that they had an extra hour in the day just so they could get all their whatever they're doing done. It's almost crazy. But it's interesting. Perhaps you're familiar then with the old adage that there's no rest for the wicked. You heard that one before? Yeah. If that's the case, then some of us church-going people must be very wicked indeed. Right? But there is an add-on to that old adage. There's an add-on. Have you heard this one before? There's no rest for the wicked, even less for the good. Even though we cannot rest as much as the wicked, lest the powers of evil get the upper hand, nonetheless, we all on occasion need our rest. We need our rest. A traveler in Papua New Guinea describes how his guides and carriers would sometimes sit down by the roadside and refuse to go any further without a rest. And they explain, we must give our souls a chance to catch up. It's interesting. We need to give our souls a chance to catch up. Tiredness is not just a physical thing. A person may feel weary at the thought of cutting grass, said Dr. Leslie Weatherhead once, yet go off cheerfully and play around at golf. It's all a matter of how you see it. Prayer and meditation, mental relaxation, the stimulus of some consuming interest, the delight of doing something to help someone else. These are different kinds of things that we do, but they all have something in common. They can revive our energy, banish our tiredness, and give our souls a chance to catch up. Contemporary philosopher Anthony O'Hare, a couple years ago, wrote an insightful piece on our life in the fast lane and our need for rest and solitude. He said this: to those of us accustomed to a life of modern diversion, TV, cell phones, iPads, tablets, computers, and the like, this essential solitude and quiet will seem hard. It may even seem boring. But there's an old saying, beloved to ascetics, that it is because the trees are still that the birds come to them. Each of us has the potential to bring to the world a unique perspective, a unique kind of wisdom. But to realize this, even for ourselves, we need space and quiet to escape the cliches of the convention. As Americans, gone are the days when Sunday was observed as a holy Sabbath. Some of you that are older will remember when nothing was opened on Sundays. You remember those days? How many of you remember those days? Yep. Now it's only our liquor stores and Chick-fil-A which are closed on Sundays. But if you need some wine or some beer, you can pick that up at the Walmart across the street. That's okay. After 12. We Our stores, our shopping centers, they're all open 7 days a week. And most of them now are open on holidays. And you know what? I think that we're all losers because of it. I do. I think we're losing something because of it. Because all of us need a Sabbath. All of us need our Sabbath. That's why God gave us the Sabbath. Because we need that rest. Yeah, because families are running in every direction, and even having to work on Sundays, there is precious little opportunity for all of the family members to gather together for rest and relaxation, to do the enjoyable things in common that strengthen the bonds of marriage and parent-child relationship. How can we live a healthy, full, meaningful life if there's no time for us to rest? As a couple, as a family, as an individual. In today's gospel, the apostles have returned from their busy missionary expedition, preaching and teaching and healing. Now, this was the same expedition that Jesus had sent them. If you have been here a couple of weeks ago, you remember that we talked about Jesus sending out the disciples and all that they had done. Here they've returned. Jesus, being the excellent listener and caregiver that he is, sees how tired they are. Indeed, Mark tells us that the clamoring crowds are still milling about so that they have no leisure even to eat. Have you had those days? So busy you don't have a chance to eat? How could these crowds be so insensitive? Can't they see that these disciples need some empathy? And Jesus sees them. Jesus sees that the disciples need rest, a time of peace, a time of quiet. And so he invites them to come with him to a deserted place and to rest. Here we see that Jesus cares for and has compassion not only on the crowds, but on his followers as well. And so it is for you, dear friends. There are times when we can become so overloaded, so run down, so tired, that we, like the apostles, like the disciples, we need our deserted place. That deserted place where we can stop and rest. All of us need that resting place and that time. Hopefully, by coming to church faithfully each Sunday, you are able to receive some of that needed rest and renewal for your life. All of us need a time to reflect, to meditate, to pray. Peace and quiet times help us all to recharge our spiritual batteries, to sharpen our focus, and to see the larger picture, the meaning of life, to be drawn closer into the relationship with God, to be more aware and appreciative of God's holy presence in our life and in all life. We, like the disciples, like those Papua New Guinea guides, we need time, a chance to give our souls to catch up with our bodies. So I compliment each of you for being here today, as this is a time, I hope, for you to stop and to rest a while. However, notice in our gospel that there's also a kind of rhythm in the movement of Jesus and his disciples. Too much solitude, too much peace and quiet is not good for us either. Then we become too self-centered and self-serving. It is true that we cannot give to others what we do not have. We cannot give to others what we do not have. And for that, we need rest, we need peace, we need quiet. But it is also true that we cannot give to others what we do not let go. say if we forget about others altogether, or refuse to give to them what we ourselves have received in our times of quiet and of peace, then we are not giving them anything at all. So we need rest. But we also need to be willing to share out of the rest that we have received. In our gospel text, Jesus knew that the greatest need of the clamoring crowds was compassion. After all, that's why they had flocked in such large numbers to seek him, seeking his healing, seeking his words. Jesus, being who he was, offered compassion to those in distress. He was willing to give them his help, and he cared. Mark describes it like this. He had compassion for them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Dr. William Barclay captures Christ's own emotions and commitment to the clamoring crowds in his translation of this verse, where he says, he translated it this way: Jesus was moved to the depths of his being with pity for them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. To be moved as Jesus was moved for those crowds. Is that not what we're called? As followers of Christ, is that not what we're called to do? How do we respond to the needs of others around us? Hopefully, if we take the time to rest, to be filled spiritually through solitude, prayer, meditation, and reflection, we can then go back out into the busyness of our lives and give of ourselves what we have received from God. It is interesting that Jesus and his disciples were often with other people, isn't it? They're often with other people, meeting them on their turf, responding appropriately to their needs. We too are called and inspired by our Lord's compassion to do exactly that. In the movement of Jesus' ministry, notice that so often he is with people who have the greatest of needs, people who were written off as outcasts. It is the sick on mats who were brought from afar and wide seeking Christ healed. Jesus didn't judge or avoid such persons whom the religious establishment of his day may have been more inclined to write off. No, Jesus always remembered that every single human being is created in God's image. And for that reason alone, they deserve to be treated equally, compassionate in ways. So it is with us. In our practice of compassion, we are called not to forget that every human being is created in God's image, and therefore deserves to be treated as an equal in a compassionate and humane way. This includes not only the so-called normal folks of society, but also the outcasts, the homeless, the mentally ill, the physically ill, the people struggling with addictions of all kinds, the homosexuals, the prostitutes, those of another race and creed, even prisoners and enemies, all are in need of compassion. In fact, the outcast may have the greatest need for our compassion. Since the lack of it is likely one of the major reasons they're outcasts in the first place. According to Dr. Leo, I'm going to butcher his last name here. What to say, Dr. Leo? He writes this: too often we underestimate the power of a touch, of a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of care, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. underestimate those small actions, those little actions of love and kindness. Think about that the next time that you're called to show compassion towards someone. Someone who's maybe in a hurry and cuts in line. Have compassion on them. Someone who maybe has got a lot going on and they cut you off in traffic. Have compassion on them. Simple act of compassion, inspired by God, to change the world around us. A little girl was sent on an errand by her mother. She took much longer than expected to come back, and so when she returned, her mother wanted an explanation. What took you so long? The little girl explained that on her way she had met a little girl who was crying because she had broken her doll. Oh, said the mother. Then you stopped to help fix her doll? Oh, no. I stopped to help her cry. That little girl had a sense of what it means to care. Much more than I think than a lot of us adults. After all, the English word care comes from the Gothic word cara. Cara quite simply means to lament. In other words, we show our care as that little girl showed care. By crying with those who are crying, doubting or questioning with those who are doubting and questioning, laughing with those who are laughing, rejoicing with those who rejoice, being willing to journey with people where they are, rather than trying to fix them. And our simple acts of compassion, God is at work and is able to change and heal people's lives, just as Jesus did in our gospel today. Would you pray with me? Father, we thank you. Thank you for the compassion Jesus showed us, stretching out his arms and dying on the cross. We thank you for the compassion you showed us when Jesus rose again as a promise that those who believe in you might have everlasting life. Lord God, forgive us when we do not show others the same compassion that you have shown us. All of us, every human being was created in your image. And so, Lord God, we ask that you might honor us, that we might honor you by honoring those who are created in your image. And we thank you. We thank you for this time of Sabbath rest that you granted to all of us this day. We thank you. We thank you for establishing that Sabbath so that we can be renewed and refreshed in mind, body, and soul. God, we love you. We bless your name.